China has been rehearsing for the Grand Military Parade scheduled for September 3rd. We previously covered many new weapon systems, but this video focuses on a new, advanced, almost futuristic tank. Said main battle tank is expected to replace a large portion of China's current tank inventory, though likely not all of it. We will explain why. So if you're interested in a deeper analysis of its features and photos, stay tuned. China is showing off a world-class military. That's something I've also been creating in my game of Supremacy World War III, sponsoring this video. It's not your usual real-time strategy. First I picked a game mode. I usually go for World War maps. Then I picked a real country I wanna lead. And from then on, well, it's complicated. I want to build up my provinces, research new weapons and create a mighty army, sure, but everyone else is trying the same. In Supremacy World War III, you compete against up to 99 real players. It's a free online PvP strategy game of modern global warfare, with just the modern toys I like. But it's not simple. Matches are played in real time, sometimes over a matter of weeks. Frankly, with my workload, I couldn't do it otherwise. I love that I can issue orders in the morning on my PC, correct my approach and check up on battles on my phone, and later in the day again play a bit more on my laptop, all with the same account. Now is a great time to jump in, as a new season just dropped and introduced officers. You unlock them as you play and keep them permanently, deploying them in matches for tactical boosts. Also, if you want a change of pace with some zombie action, what's better than a World War III game mode with evolved mutants? You can all give Supremacy World War III a try for free, especially now that Binkov viewers are getting an exclusive gift. New players will get the elite main battle tank for free. So go out there and conquer the world. For years, rumors circulated about a new Chinese tank. It turns out that one of the earliest leaked photos matches the final design. Now, with parade rehearsals underway, the tarps have come off, and the new tank is quite an interesting machine. First off, it's not exactly small. Compared to the Type 99, China's heavy tank, it is 5 to 10% shorter. Another comparison with images fit to scale shows a similarly wide hull, though that includes thick side armor modules of the new tank. Height-wise, it's roughly equal to the Type 99A at the turret roof level. These figures are approximate, within a few decimeters, but clearly this is not a small tank. Track width and length is about 10% narrower and shorter than that on the Type 99. Tanks tend to aim for similar ground pressure, so track contact area offers clues to weight. If designed for low ground pressure like the original Soviet T-72, it might weigh around 40 metric tons. But as tanks have generally grown heavier over time, without much track compensation, mid to high 40 tons is a more likely estimate. That would make it heavier than a T-72 and China's own Type 96, similar to the T-90, and a bit lighter than the late 80s Leopard 2. Crucially, this new tank distributes its weight differently. Its turret is unmanned. Note the two hatches on the hull roof, indicative of all crew being in the hull, unlike typical designs with a turret crew and a single driver hatch. The turret itself has one large maintenance hatch, likely also used for ammo resupply. This crew layout mirrors Russia's T-14 of the Armata family, where all crew are seated in the hull, just in front of the turret ring. The only question is whether this tank has 2 or 3 crew members. Though there are only 2 hatches, fitting 3 inside is possible. T-14 also has 2 hatches but a 3-person crew. There is even a central periscope-like device, again similar to the T-14. A 3-person crew would make sense given the workload, driving, weapons, sensors and command duties. Notably, the Chinese tank has a visibly longer and more substantial turret than the T-14. Though unmanned, it's still probably chock full of features. It's plausible that ammo is stored in the rear of the turret, using an autoloader. In contrast, the T-14 stores most of its ammo in the hull, with the autoloader reaching downward. And here's the shocking part. Despite the spacious turret, the tank appears to use a smaller caliber main gun. Chinese main battle tanks typically use 125mm guns, while the 33-ton light Type 15 uses a 105mm gun. This new tank could have fit a 125mm gun, yet it sports something visibly narrower. Measurements give out 100 or so millimeters, so it's probably 105, a sound choice for logistics commonality. Still, the gun could be a new design. Its barrel is long, about as long as the Type 99's, suggesting a length of over 50 calibers, though maybe not quite as long as the T-14's 56 caliber monster gun. We'll discuss the gun's caliber choice later. The tank also includes features that may slightly reduce its radar cross-section, most notably the angular gun shroud, which makes the barrel appear thicker. But this isn't a stealth tank. At most, tank's shape might force airborne radars to get a few miles closer to confirm it's a tank. For recon drones, that still might be risky. Armor appears substantial. Chinese tanks haven't previously had such thick side armor slabs protecting tracks and hull. Compared to the Type 99, the new tank's hull front to driver hatch distance is at least 60% longer, likely allowing for more of the layered and spaced armor. Said front hull to hatch distance is similar or slightly longer than the front turret to hatch distance on the Type 99. Unlike the Type 99's many small explosive reactive armor tiles, this tank uses larger armor modules. This could suggest non-explosive reactive armor or self-limiting ERA inspired by Israeli Merkava designs, balancing protection and reusability. The shown tanks lacked any slat armor, but that's not surprising. Such add-on armor modules can be attached when the need arises. The turret likely isn't heavily armored. Its cheeks certainly aren't. The central turret casing shows some armor modules, but since the crew isn't inside, there is less need to armor it heavily. A hit might disable the gun, but crew survival matters more. In long-term combat, saving the crew is more valuable. Other allied systems can support the disabled tank, which can later be repaired with a new turret. A lighter turret, after all, allows a more protected crew capsule. This design prioritizes passive crew protection and relies on its active protection system, or APS, for overall defense. While actual APS performance is unknown, its components are visible. 4 radar units covering all quadrants, each with 2 different radar arrays, possibly for wider frequency and vertical coverage. The tank is ringed with optical sensors. While some aid the driver, 4 specialized turret sensors cover all angles. These optical APS sensors have extra apertures, suggesting a combination of laser warning and optical tracking systems working alongside the radars. Israeli tank makers have promoted how their APS sensors enhance crew situational awareness, pinpointing gunfire locations, for example. These systems act as a tool for full battlefield awareness. It's plausible that Chinese designers pursued similar capabilities. The crew's helmet gear includes a peculiar visor, possibly an augmented reality display. Israeli tanks use a helmet system called Iron Vision, which lets the crew see through the tank by overlaying sensor data. With all the sensors on the new Chinese tank, this may be the intention as well, but there's no confirmation yet. Of course, the better-known role of APS sensors is guiding interceptor munitions. The Chinese system mounts 2 launchers, each with 4 interceptors. When a threat nears, a projectile is fired to neutralize it. Slower weapons like RPGs and ATGMs are ideal targets, but unitary interceptor systems may also disrupt high-speed anti-tank darts. For comparison, Israel has 2 APS types: Iron Fist, similar to China's using unitary interceptors, and Trophy, which fires shotgun-like charges. The Trophy is praised for compactness and carries 6 to 8 charges on Merkava tanks. The Chinese APS shows 8 tubes, suggesting good capacity for countering projectiles and possibly fending off a few drones as well. The tank also features smoke grenade launchers in 2 sizes, which likely serve to deploy complex countermeasures. Today's countermeasures deploy smoke screens but also disrupt infrared sensors. While the engine is hidden, its compartment appears compact, suggesting a space-efficient design. That might simply mean more internal room, but rumors point to a new high-power to volume engine. A notable detail is the sound. The tank produces a low rumble, captured in footage as it passes. Less engine noise than Type 99. With the next US Abrams tank moving toward hybrid electric power and China's strength in electric systems, it's plausible this new tank uses some form of hybrid electric drive. Given its electronics loadout, it would need a large battery to run sensors even when the engine is off, for tactical purposes. Secondary armament includes what appears to be a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun and a larger, likely 12.7mm machine gun mounted in a large remote weapon station atop the turret. This station rotates as part of the commander's sight mast. In contrast, the Abrams uses a separate sight and RWS, potentially causing blind spots. The downside of the Chinese approach is that the weapon station relies on the commander's optics. If damaged, no backup is available. The US setup, while less integrated, can offer a secondary if lower quality view. As for gunner optics, no sight is clearly visible. A likely location is behind the panel to the right of the gun, but few images show the panel open. So why would China build a tank the size and weight of a T-72 or Type 96, but arm it with a smaller gun? Sure, more rounds can be stored and the long barrel enables higher round velocities, but even that won't let the gun match the power of top-tier 125mm rounds. The real reason lies elsewhere. Historically, tank gun calibers grew mainly to counter enemy armor. Once a gun could defeat tanks, it was good for everything else too. Remember, the US wanted to create a pure infantry support tank made to engage fortifications and non-tank vehicles, and both designs settled on a 105mm gun. During the Cold War, Soviet tanks began fielding 125mm guns in the mid-60s, but NATO tanks didn't upgun their 105mm guns until 1979. The M1 Abrams switched to a 120mm gun only in 1985. Basically, you don't want a larger gun than needed. NATO waited for as long as it could before switching over to a larger caliber. Back then, the main reason the switch to 120mm happened was that most numerous target NATO thought it would encounter were Soviet tanks. But tank warfare has changed. The 1980s envisioned masses of tanks charging through missile and airstrike fire. Detection, command and targeting were crude compared to today's tech. Before fire-and-forget missiles, precise airstrikes, drones and time-compressed kill chains. Modern battlefields, even Ukraine's flatlands, once famous for tank battles, show tanks playing more of a support role than engaging in tank-on-tank duels. And China faces very different terrain and adversaries. Take Taiwan, mountainous and urban, ill-suited for large-scale armor maneuvers. Most of the tanks China may one day land would be providing general fire support. They would not engage many enemy tanks. The Korean peninsula also isn't ideal for large tank battles, with its topography and urban density, nor is the Tibetan Plateau, near India, where China already deploys lightweight Type 15 tanks. This new tank appears designed for urban combat. Heavily armored first half of the hull, including the top, unmanned turret and a suite of sensors to counter ATGMs and partially drones. A bigger gun would result in less protection, a poor trade-off in such scenarios. Also, China's tank fleet is tiered, lots of obsolete tanks to be replaced, including maybe some Type 96, solid but outdated. This new design might offer a better all-around platform without necessarily being more powerful. Type 96 is the cheaper counterpart to the better and heavier Type 99. In time, China might also develop a heavier tank with a bigger gun for high-tier roles to replace the 99s. Or not. Some rumors suggest such a project might have been put on ice. The lessons from Ukraine suggest that investing in heavy tanks may not be resource efficient if said tanks are just going to be priority targets for drones and missiles. It remains to be seen what will various Abrams and Leopard successors look like in the end. Before we go, a few more details on Supremacy World War III, the free online PvP strategy game of modern global warfare. There is a whole economic and diplomatic system to play with. Alliances can be crucial. Provinces make you resources, which you can trade with other players, or simply wage war and take their provinces and resources. And you get to use over 100 modern weapon systems to do it, while researching over 250 various tech tree improvements. There are mechanized formations, advanced tanks, stealth jets, nuclear subs, and other cool modern-day gizmos. Remember, new players are getting an exclusive starter pack worth $25, the Elite Main Battle Tank, for free. So choose your strategy, go meet some real player rivals, and take over the world.